Well, once again, was my classroom of the first year. And over there is where I'm building a fireplace. And I'm going to see if I can, I took the whole thing down because there's a high spot. And I'm going to build it now. Again, here are all the pieces. I'm going to build it again quite quickly, probably in an hour, less than an hour. And I'm going to see if I can film it for you. All right, I got my donkeys. They're watching. They're not very interested, but they're happy to say hi. The problem is, I don't know if you can, I hope you can see this. The problem is that there's a high spot right here. And it has to be perfectly level. By having that high spot, and I'm not using mortar. If I were using mortar, it wouldn't be an issue. But I have to have a perfectly level base. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to dump stone here. I'll show you. Well, there's been some excitement since I filmed that last one. My brother-in-law leaned on a post that I hadn't fastened yet, and it fell over and knocked the camera flying. So I figured maybe I'll just hold the camera here at first so you can see better. It doesn't look like I've done very much, but that little bit of stone makes all the difference. And you see the joints now are straight. It was getting worse as it went up, and if I were using mortar, that would be, I could adjust it every course, but see, I'm dry stacking this. All right, to be continued. Well, I still am going to film holding it for a little while till these blocks are out of the way. That's the second course, and it's coming good. There's the third course is on. Of course, now I'm just setting the blocks. This is real easy because I have all the right blocks I need, and the base is level. The joints are still good. On the fourth course, I ran into a little bit of a problem. The joints began to open up here, and I shimmed it with flat washers there and there. I first noticed it at this joint here, and that had to do with that high spot. And of course, I had to shim it in the back as well. Worst case scenario, I'll put some mortar in there. But it's still coming okay, and of course very fast. Now let me try filming it with the camera on the music stand there. I might have been able to notice right there that joint was opening up. I could have maybe noticed it a little sooner, but it seems like it's all going okay. That's the fifth course, and I think I had said earlier, it costs about $25 a course for the blocks. And now these are jam blocks, and I'm leaving them out. I could hide them, but I got to reverse that. Because I might, I didn't get that right. Because I might be able to use that. Oh, yeah. I might be able to use that to hinge something. All right, now I'm going to start corbelling in. Now things will slow up a little bit. I don't know if you remember, I corbelled in partly because the purchase for that, this is out of a piano. The cast iron harp in a piano. I showed you this before. That's what I'm going to use as a mantle. I broke the cast iron off instead of sawing it. And the purchase was so slight here that I decided to corbel in. I told about that already. But it's going to slow up now because I've got to stop to cut off those bolts. So this is another piece of fairly thick steel I found, and I don't want those bolts bothering. So I'm going to either have to hacksaw them off or snap them or grind them off. That'll take a little while. Well, as I said, that slowed me up a little bit. Let's take the camera out of this music stand and take a look. But this is the smoke shelf, and I found flat pieces of steel and iron that'll work. Before I go on to the next course, I wanted to make sure this was visible. Okay, I know something I wanted to say. When you're taking a bolt out of something, this is just sort of common knowledge, I think. Some of them snapped off, some of them I got off. But if it starts to go, and of course you put the penetrating oil on it, if it starts to go just a little bit to come off, what you always want to do then is turn it back on and go back and forth. Don't keep just trying to come off. That's just kind of common knowledge. All right, well, next course, I guess. Well, now I have to do some thinking. That was fast. It was slow taking the bolts out. I'm going to finally have to do a little bit of sawing of blocks for those gaps. And I need to come up with a straight line off the wall that I can land the dome, the vault on. So there's more thinking to do here. I may just put what I have online. My buddies here have been patient, but they're saying, hey, it's time. We'd like a little grain now. Okay, all right. All right. Is this what you want? There's a little bit. A little bit. She's smart. Her name is Nicely. Okay, anyway, I guess I'll film a little bit more, but I am slowing up because I got to think now. Yep, now I definitely have to start thinking because I'm going to start to bring the vault in. It'll want to thrust out. Got lots to think about now. And there's a big cast iron door that I want to put here in the front. Yep, it's going to slow up now a little bit. But I think maybe tomorrow I'll go on with this. Well, it's the next day, and I've had some time to think. I put some threaded rod that I just happened to have the right size. I put some threaded rod into those, and I thought, oh, I need to go to town to get 2 more. No, just because there's 6 opportunities, I don't have to use all 6. I can use those top 2 and the bottom 2. And here's the door that I think I can use. It's hurting. I mean, here, this is missing, but I got a very clever neighbor. This goes up here, I think. Yeah, and it even occurred to me that I might be able to bake bread up in that smoke chamber. I don't know. I'm going to do some playing. I'll put the fire brick in back in today. The only cutting I've done so far was I cut that piece of angle iron. I'm going to use that, slide that back in to hold the fire brick in place. I think that's the only thing I have cut so far. Now I'll have to start cutting more. Oh, and another thing. I realize I don't have to stick to concrete blocks. I've got bricks, a lot of bricks kicking around. And when I go through the middle here, when it gets complicated, I can go to bricks. I don't see why not. All right, well, I'm going to get to work, and I'll show you more later. Now, I sure don't want to insult anybody, but here's something that maybe I could show. Maybe you already know. When you hacksaw something off, it only cuts on the 4-stroke, so you don't press down on the backstroke. And you can hear, sometimes you can hear somebody, you can tell whether or not they know what they're doing by the sound of the hacksaw. If it sounds like that, it's wrong. It's only on the 4-stroke, and your hand should be there, your other hand. Here's something else just in passing. I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but when you saw it off, the nut may not go on it, but if you grind the end of it so it's a little bit conical, like that'll usually clean the threads up from the cut enough that a nut will go on it and you don't have to then tap it. Or run a tap and dial on it. The donkeys say they've been very patient and they've watched me fool around, but now they like just a little bit of grain. Okay, here you go, a little bit, not much. Well, I laid some sheet metal, some aluminum flashing over it to give the idea of what the dome will look like on top. It's just laying there. And also I set some brick in there to see what that would look like. This door needs some love and care. And there's where I think I might be able to bake bread. And I have a piece to cover that as well. So now I'm going to bring the fire brick in, set them back in place, and I'll call it the end of this film. Okay, that's it for now. To be continued. I have these fire brick left over. Turns out that these thin ones are more expensive than the thicker ones. That really surprised me. And I decided to use fire brick that I had around here, these old ones. Certainly not finished. One of these days, when the wind isn't blowing, I'll light a fire just to see what happens to the smoke. Oh, just a newspaper or something. All right, there you have it. I haven't cut any blocks at all. And I did saw that piece of steel at the bottom. All right, bye.